Meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Barger?
Here.
Master Tudor?
Here.
Master Botkin?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite Daniel Miller from Waco Church of Nazarene to come up and lead us in a word of prayer. Daniel, appreciate you being here. Yep, just come over to the mic. Appreciate you being here today. Appreciate you bringing a guest too.
Yeah, babysitter dropped at the last moment. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day that you've given us. We thank you for the rain that nourishes the plants. Lord, we ask that today's meeting, that you would give wisdom, that you would give understanding, that, Lord, the best decisions would be made today, that you would help us. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Appreciate you being here. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Everybody would please stand, face the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Guys, y'all have had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting. This time I need a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. No discussion. Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, the treasurer's report. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning. I dropped your treasurer's report in the Dropbox. This is available to the public. If anyone would like a copy, they can see me after the meeting or come to the treasurer's office or judge's office. As of August the 31st, 2018, our total fund balance is $6,403,693.47. As of August 31st, 2018, our revenues for our general fund are at 12.43%. Our expenditures are at 15.97%. Our road fund revenues are at 53.26%, and our expenditures are at 10.17%. Our revenues for our jail fund are at 23.97%. Our expenditures are at 16.43%. Our CSEP fund, our revenues are at 0.38%. Our expenditures are at 0.87%. Our revenues for our 911 fund is 11.38%. Our expenditures are 11.40%. So we're right on track with our budget. I do also have this morning, it was brought to our attention late yesterday afternoon and this morning that we have an invoice that needs to go through this court that is not on the claims list. It is computer information systems. It's for the CAD system. That has been bid out. It has been approved for 911's CAD system. This is the first payment on it. It's $191,686. The total that was approved for the CAD was $251,088.
Can you read the 191 again, please, Glenna?
$191,686 even.
And who's it to?
Computer Information Systems Incorporated. And this will be the first payment on that out of a total of $251,088.
So this is almost 2/3 of the balance.
Yes, and it needed to be paid by the end of this month in order for the prices not to change. And we just got it from the company late yesterday afternoon. I just received it this morning, so I wanted to add this on to the claims list verbally. And when we approve the claims, the judge is going to mention this one specifically to be added in with it to be approved.
Is this something we share with the city, or is this just on our own here?
This is part of the support that we give 911 goes to pay for this.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Yes, both cities.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're just in charge of their fund.
Yes.
Yep. And it's something that their actual board, I'm sure, needs to have, or they voted on or approved.
Yes,
or
they've
whatever.
already approved
Yep.
it. It was bid out. Everything's
Yep.
everything's good with it. Just need to pay the bill.
Guys, any questions for Glenna? Thanks, Glenna. Appreciate it.
Do we need to vote and pay you?
We will at the end when we do claims and transfers. Thanks. Guys, I need to amend the agenda. This is actually just striking something off the agenda that's on there, and that's number 4. I need a motion second to amend the agenda, striking off number 4, the agreement between the Madison County Fiscal Court and the City of Richmond on the property easement here at the courthouse.
So move.
Second.
So I have a motion second to amend the agenda and striking number 4 off the agenda. No discussion, call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is recognition of fire department retiree. Mr. Riley, if you will, come up. I think Larry, you got something too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We'll do the arm. A certificate of retirement for Harry Andy Riley, Madison County Fire Department, has been recognized for outstanding achievement and having served faithfully and honorably with dedication to the safety of the citizens of Madison County for 20 years. This recognition is hereby awarded this the 25th day of September 2018 by the Madison County Fiscal Court. Larry Combs, Magistrate; Roger Barger, Magistrate; Reagan Taylor, County Judge Executive; John Tudor, Magistrate; and Tom Buckley, Magistrate. Appreciate your service, man. Thank you. Let's go ahead and, Magistrate, wait a minute. I'll let you go in a minute. Let's all get around. Andy,
Oh,
picture.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, come on right front. Thanks for your service, man. Appreciate it.
I have a little token I want to present to Andy. Shad Box.
There you go. We hold that.
And it's all his years that he's put in and captured, and I just wanna say to Andy, we don't have many more old people up there anymore. He's not old, but we're losing a lot of seniority, and I wanna thank you for your service. And hopefully, everybody that applies with us, stays with us, do the same thing you're doing. I hope so. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
Next on the agenda, the second reading of ordinance 1817 to amend subdivision regulations, bonds. This is ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court amending ordinance number 0002, the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations regarding construction guarantees and performance bonds. Guys, there's a lot of language in this ordinance. I'm not going to go and read every word of it. Y'all had the opportunity to look over it. The gist of it is that we're changing up how we do our bonds, our letter of credit. One of the things that we're doing in this that we've had that previous administration had problems with was letting a letter of credit just be there for multiple years. I mean, 15 years. And obviously, when that letter of credit was based off the cost of blacktop 15 years ago, then if that's the same letter of credit 15 years later, it's not going to go as far, right? And so I had some issues in the past, I think, where somebody said, well, just take my letter of credit, and then the county, it cost a whole lot more to put blacktop down than what that letter of credit was good for. So this puts a 5-year cap on that letter of credit and allows the planning and zoning department, the road department, to go out and make sure that that letter of credit stands good for what needs to be done and work done up to 5 years, and so we can relook at it.
Then be updated if needed.
That's right, it needs to be updated, and it could go either way. I mean, maybe blacktop goes down, so it would need to be lowered a little bit, you know. The other thing it does is it allows, once 5 years comes up and a developer has sold and got to 50% of the lots, and the improvements made on those lots, that he can ask the court to adopt that road in. There's some other stipulations along with that he would have to put in sidewalks on the lots he owns. We've got a lot of developers out there that they've sold lots to private individuals, and then those private individuals are holding them up from being able to release that letter of credit because they're not ready to build a house yet. And so some of that liability needs to be passed on to the actual landowner and not necessarily the developer. So this makes us be a little bit more developer friendly in a sense, a little bit more marketable as a county to promote growth and to promote development. So if you all affirm in the passage of ordinance 1817 to amend the subdivision regulations, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. No more discussion. Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Got excited for a second.
I thought I heard two over there.
I get to vote twice, Ken, sorry.
That's funny.
Vote off and vote twice.
Yes, vote off and vote twice. Contract agreement, this is Cedar Hill Drive, this is a hydraulic design. Guys, on the Cedar Hill project, this is really tied to the bridge, the 80-20 bridge money that we were awarded back in, I guess, June or July. I can't remember exactly when we took it through court. But part of our estimates when we sent that into the state was this hydraulic study done on that section of that creek. I'm not sure what that creek's called, you know? I can't remember. It's some prong, isn't it?
Hayes, called it Hayes Creek.
Hayes Creek? Yeah, it is, Hayes Fork Creek. But on that section, we wanted to make sure that we did a hydraulic study on that stream to make sure that we didn't, you know, flood somebody upstream or downstream when we go in to replace this big culvert. That culvert was actually
Railroad.
it was actually like a railroad car, tanker
Tanker.
car. It was two of them cut up, and so, you know, obviously that's caused a lot of problems. And so this is the cost of that hydraulic study for that project. That's $12,000. This is a professional service, and it was part of that bid that we'd already sent in. So I just need y'all's approval and me signing this agreement with Jackson Group.
I make a motion to enter this agreement.
Second. Judge, what is the total cost of that project? You haven't figured it.
So I have a motion and a second, and you're asking for the total cost of that project. We brought that all to court. I think it was approximately like all three of those projects were like 280. Is that what we got approved for?
Like 316, if I'm thinking right.
Was that the total though?
Total of all of them.
That was about 80.
Right.
About 80,000 on that, Scott.
I think it was a little over 100 for this one. You're welcome to stop by the office and I'll be glad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John. I don't
That's fine.
remember. Yeah, those numbers, because we only get 80% from the state, and we got to do 20% could be our in-kind. So I can't remember what the total was. Those three projects were off Goggins there, Cardinal Drive, Arbuckle was one of them, and then this one on Cedar. Yeah, this is Panura Acres there as you go kind of back up to Old Wilderness Trail there. Yeah. All right, so I have a motion and a second. No discussion, no more discussion. Call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is a resolution 1823. It's a harm reduction grant. This grant was added, I think, just in the last few days to the agenda, and is due September the 30th. So that was the need for us to get this on this agenda. Again, resolution 1823, whereas Madison County Fiscal Court, at the request of the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, assists in providing resources to enhance the health and well-being of the general public. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court will act as the applicant agent for the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy to make an application to the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Office of Drug Control Policy, for assistance to affect alcohol and substance abuse issues in Madison County and to increase drug prevention and awareness activities funded by the program. And whereas the Madison County ASAP funding request is limited to approximately $20,000 for the 2019 harm reduction grant funding year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court assists the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, acting as the fiscal agent for the purpose of providing services necessary for the program fiscal operation of the agency. And be it further resolved that in the event a grant is awarded, the Madison County Fiscal Court understands that it will sign assurances to comply with all applicable federal and state laws, rules, and regulations, especially Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and Section 504 of the 1973 Rehabilitation Act. So if you all approve Resolution 1823, I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion, Judge, to approve Resolution 1823, the harm reduction grant.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a second, motion and a second. Guys, just some of the things that this money will be going towards on the prevention side, which I think is pretty awesome. Several years ago, through leadership with Berea Community, City of Richmond Law Enforcement, the ASAP Board, Phyllis Adams, we all partnered together, the school board, to start a Too Good for Drugs curriculum and program in our school systems. And y'all heard me talk about that in the past. But some of these funds will be going towards getting that started in the sixth grade curriculum during the fall of 2019 year. Actually, you know what? I think that should say 8th grade curriculum, because I think it started out in 6th grade. This year we've gone to 3rd grade, and I believe this needs to say 8th grade, because that was the whole initiative behind this, is we wanted it in 3rd, 6th, and 8th, so that these individuals and these kids are getting this 3 times before they get into that pivotal moment in their life when they get to high school, you know. So they're also Narcan. I think they're using some of this for Narcan from Madison County EMS. It says to provide 75 doses of injectable Narcan, to provide 140 doses of Narcan to the local law enforcement, jailer, and to be used in community forums. Then some of this is training fees. Treatment, Celebrate Recovery. They're going to use some of the funds to support local groups conducting Celebrate Recovery programs through purchase of training materials, treatment vouchers, drug-exposed infant guides, as well as guidebooks to hand out to caregivers and stuff. So that's what the money's planned to be used for.
Hey, Judge, I'd just like to add, being a member of the Substance Abuse Board, I would just like to say that I'm very happy that we were able to get the Narcan doses for our law enforcement and for our jail. And that this is not so much for treatment of victims, even though it could be. It's to protect our own people. The jailer has no idea what's coming into his jail down there, and his people are just as subject to be.
Not do it with our hands on it.
That's exactly right. Same thing for our law enforcement. When the sheriff sent his deputies out to a situation where they've been calling for drugs, they have no idea what they're walking into. And just some of the fumes and vapors from some of those things can really expose them to a lot of harm, and that's part of what this Narcan's for, to keep our people safe. Along with, if they have to, they can use it before EMS gets there, but most of the time EMS is right on the spot, right on time. So they really do a good job. This is to help and to protect our people as well.
And a note there, jail has done, Doug's already had all his employees vaccinated with the
Hep A.
Yeah, and we're gonna do that. We had a situation where we had a deputy, a little over a week ago, make an arrest, turned bad where feces was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good.
Yep. All right, thanks, guys. We have a motion and a second. If no more discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is an appointment to the Planning Commission. This is a replacement. We had a member of the Planning Commission Board that resigned, and so this appointment would be fulfilling the rest of that term. It would be my recommendation to the court that you all approve the appointment of Drew Alexander to the Madison County Planning Commission. His appointment will expire December 31st, 2020. It's a partial term. Anybody doesn't know Drew actually grew up and played, or went to Madison Central, actually played golf at EKU. A local young man, was a commercial appraiser, did residential appraisals. He's been in the insurance business as well. Now he's with Central Bank in their insurance department, Central Bank. Just a wonderful young man, and has a good handle on development. Obviously doing appraisals, understanding real estate. So if y'all approve his appointment to the Planning Commission, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
No more discussion. Call the roll, please.
I'd just like to mention that I think it'd be good if these people could come in just so we can see them when they're appointed.
Okay.
Who resigned, Judge?
James Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Glenna, I don't know if you're gonna talk about this or not, but, we got a letter from, I guess, actually Kentucky EMA.
I put it on your Dropbox, but also I'm gonna give you a hard copy of it so you have.
This is a payment, we got it from Kentucky Emergency Management, but it's obviously coming from FEMA on the de-obligation of those federal funds, that was used on Arbuckle Lane back in 2010. Well, it was due to the 2010 flood. I don't think we actually received the funds till 2012 maybe.
Yeah, there's a timeline on the back of that, attached to that letter, that gives you, because this has been an 8-year span. This was the flood of 2010. There's a timeline I can run through real quick if you want me to. Back in May of 2010, from May 1st to June 1st of 2010, it was declared in Commonwealth Kentucky state of emergency. On 9/11 of 2010, the FEMA specialist gave our project estimate for that PW for Arbuckle Lane to be $179,767. On 10/25 of 2011, Arbuckle had been closed since the flood, so since the flood had happened, we had closed the road. No work had been done on the project, and the contract would expire in November of 2011. So Madison County requested a time extension from FEMA to work on the project. On 11/9 of 2011, FEMA granted our request for time extension and extended the contract to November of 2012. 10/15 of 2012, the work was 100% complete on the project. In November of 2012, we made a request was made to FEMA for our final inspection after the work was done. On June the 7th of 2013, we did receive payment of $151,682.03. On March of 2016, FEMA did a site inspection. On April 28th of 2016, FEMA wrote the inspection report. On June the 3rd of 2016, we received a letter of de-obligation and stated that Madison County would have to repay a portion of the funds that were sent to the county. 6/5 of 2016 through present, we have appealed this process, asked that it be looked at again. They've denied our appeal. And on 9/17 of 2018, we received a letter requesting payment of $84,165.91.
Glenna, what was the reason for them to, their de-obligation on that? Well, they backed out on it.
When they approved it, they approved, and Willie can speak on this, but they approved certain sections of that road to be done. We didn't work on the road till 2 years later. When we went in, we did the entire road pretty much because it had to be done. We did stay under, we turned in $178,000. We stayed under their amount, but because we did sections that they did not specifically approve, they would not pay for those sections. But the whole road had to be done. If you were gonna open it back up, it had to be done no matter what. So when we turned it in, it was under the amount that they had approved, but they would not give us the money because they had specifically said only this section, this 15-foot section could be done.
Mr. Tudor, in the previous administration, they did not request an amendment on that to be, and so if we would have requested an amendment, most likely we wouldn't have had it flagged, but because an amendment was not requested at that time, they would not authorize payment.
So we could have requested an amendment to do
You
the
could have, but
extension.
not
and
after the fact.
We didn't do that.
Correct.
But we only actually used less money than
Yes.
recommended to do that
Yes.
project, but it wasn't in the spot that they wanted it done.
Yes.
But you didn't
Exactly.
ask. They didn't ask. We didn't ask.
Correct.
We got approved to do certain sections, and we did more than what those sections were.
And just to be clear, who we is, the we was before.
Yeah, the we
two
was
you
before
sat
any
in
of
those
us.
seats, so.
Well, that's a road that the school bus travels every day, and I mean, there's no question about whether or not it had to be fixed. I mean, I've seen it, it's in the 4th district, it had to be fixed. As a matter of fact, it's not the best road in the world right now today. But
Plus, it's set for 2 years from the time the storm damage happened till we worked on it, so I'm sure it eroded even more.
Yeah, it's just disappointing to me that it's disappointing to me that 6 years later that we're dealing with it. I mean, that's what's disappointing.
Well, and when we turned in 2012 is when we asked for the final inspection. They didn't come till 4 years later to do the final inspection. So we put in the request for the final inspection in 2012. They didn't show up till March of 2016 to do
Well,
it.
that doesn't surprise you fooling with FEMA, does it?
No.
I'm not gonna shed no tear over FEMA.
So
Well, I
this
don't
will
know, I
close
don't
it
know,
out.
I don't know of any other projects that I've been a part of, and there's been many projects, FEMA projects in Madison County that it's taken them 4 years to come back.
No, the ice storm was about 4 years closing out. I mean, it
Well,
didn't
yeah.
take them 4 years to come back, but it usually takes from the
But
time
this
you
is 4
start the
years to
program
come and get a final inspection.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was extremely long.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, the road doesn't even look like it's been, had new blacktop on it by then, 4 years down the road. Yeah. Anyway, it's unfortunate, but this is the things that we have to deal with. And so we need to talk about where we're gonna get
Yes.
$84,165.91 to pay back to FEMA.
So I have two options on the back of that page, if you'd like to look at. The first option is to repayment from the LGA fund, because the LGA fund is to be used for roads, and this does qualify for it. So right now, our balance on our LGA fund is $468,464.18. If we make the repayment amount of $84,165.91, the balance remaining in our LGA fund would be $384,298.27. And of course, we will be getting funds quarterly into our LGA fund this year to build it back up. Our option two is to repayment out of the reserve for transfer in our general fund. The balance I give there is the balance in our reserve for transfer that is above our amount that's invested. So this is what's actually in reserve for transfer that's sitting in our checking account, not out in our investments. $484,750.17. If we do the repayment amount, that will leave a balance of $400,584.26. My personal suggestion would be to pay it out of the LGA fund.
Now, Glenda, does the LGA fund have a cap on it that if we have so much in that, they will not receive payment?
No.
It's all based on the rock and the.
Yes, and the formula
Min-
changes
minerals.
every quarter. So, I mean, it's
From the-
figured every quarter by how much usage.
Yeah, that fund there we've used in the past to, up our blacktop for that year.
We didn't use it at
Whatever.
all in 17-18.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's been many years that we just build it up,
Yeah.
save it, and in case we have an emergency or anything on our roads. I mean, basically, that's what we've used it for in the past, and I think this very much qualifies for it.
We've always kind of said, since I've been here, Glenna, let's not drop it really below 300,
Yeah.
And we haven't. We've built it back up to 500 or 600, and then we've used some of it. I know we used some of that our first year. So I think it's a good place to use it from, man, with everything, building wise, maintenance wise, I mean, heating and air units wise, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. So I'd hate to deplete our, general fund transfers. for
Yes,
those.
because the LGA fund is limited. We can only
Right,
use
you
it
can
for
only
roads.
use it for roads.
Judge, I like to say it's rather disappointing, some of the events we've requested FEMA to help us on, and they've prolonged the help and then promised that, and then at the end, didn't come through with it, and then here we got to pay them back on something that was approved, and we did everything we thought was right, and evidently overextended the project a little bit, and now we're gonna pay it back, so it's a little disappointing to have to give something back when you were already approved for it, but
And
I
on
don't
top of
think we
that,
have another option here.
on top of that, it could be tomorrow that we'll be asking FEMA for more money, the way the water's been running, and I mean, that's just part of it, We know it's gonna happen, we're gonna be begging to them again, so,
Kinda got our hands tied here,
that's
Rob.
right, that's exactly. I agree that the LGEA fund is one that should come out of it.
Can we get a motion
Is that a
to,
motion?
That's a motion.
All right, I have a motion to pay this $84,165.91 in de-obligation back to FEMA out of the LGEA fund.
Second.
Have a second. No more discussion, call the roll.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckins?
Yes.
Just two.
Yes. Guys, I need to ask permission to amend the agenda again. I believe that on the agenda that was posted on Friday, I just got word that on number 8, it did not say personnel on the CSEP training officer. And so I need the agenda to say personnel because it is a personnel issue.
Which one are you talking about?
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. So this was not on the agenda, period.
That's right.
On my number 8, so I need to amend the agenda to add personnel, CSEP training officer, which on my agenda is number 8. So sorry. But again, I need a motion and a second to amend the agenda for personnel, CSEP training officer.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Dustin, good morning, buddy.
Morning, sir.
Appreciate it. Good.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
As the judge said, I'm here to ask the court's permission. We would like to have Teresa Stalker laterally transfer from her current position to the training and exercise officer. She currently has a certification in exercise planning and writing. She's been with the organization for 19 years. We think she'd be a huge asset to the position. So with the court's recommendation, we would like to, or with the court's approval, we'd like to recommend her for that, and her start date would be immediately, as she's already with us.
Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate that. Do I have a motion and a second to go with Dustin's recommendation in the lateral change?
Yes. Pay does stay the same.
Yeah, pay stay same.
Yeah.
That's my next question. I'll make that motion.
So I got a motion.
Second.
I have a second. No more discussion. Call the roll. And Miss Teresa, wait. I'm sure y'all have seen Miss Teresa if she's been here 19 years. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate the work you do. So I have a motion and a second. Do I have any more discussion? Not, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it. Guys, thanks for letting me amend the agenda as well. Next is the 2019 holiday calendar. This will require a motion in a second. Guys, this, the only really difference in this year's calendar versus last year's and the years prior was Veterans Day. When Veterans Day is on Saturday and Sunday, we take Columbus Day. And obviously this year it's on Sunday. So that's why we're taking Columbus Day here in a couple weeks. But next year, Veterans Day will be actually on a Monday. So we won't take Columbus Day anymore. So I'm going to read off the holiday schedule. New Year's Day is Tuesday, January 1st, 2019. Martin Luther King Day, Monday, January 21st, 2019. President's Day, Monday, February 18th, 2019. Good Friday, spring holiday, which is a half a day, is Friday, April 19th. Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th. Independence Day, Thursday, July the 4th. Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd. Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th. Thanksgiving break will be the Thursday and Friday, November 28th and 29th. Christmas break will be Tuesday, December 24th, and Wednesday, December 25th. And New Year's for that year would be, New Year's Eve would be Tuesday, December 31st. So that's our 12 and a half days that we typically take. So if y'all approve that holiday schedule for 2019, I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion to approve the 2019 holiday calendar.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, so my judge's report's not on the agenda, so I guess I'll give one. So let's move on. Comments from department heads. Scott Tussey.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to take the moment to remind everybody about our household hazardous waste collection event this Saturday, September 29th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Road Department South, which is 208 Clarksville Lane. The event is a way for our citizens and residents to get rid of automotive products, fertilizers, pesticides, oil-based paints, solvents, cleaners, mercury stuff, electronics, and batteries. Most importantly, during the event, we'll talk about what we do not accept during the event, which is latex paint. I cannot send a friendly reminder about latex paint. Over the years, people still want to bring latex paint to the event. Latex paint is water-based, non-hazardous, and can be disposed of easily with some oil, dry, or cat litter. It's perfectly safe to stir that into it, let it dry for 24 hours, and it's safe to dispose of in your local trash stream. So, as well as radioactive materials, guns and ammunitions, and foam insulation systems are some items that we do not take during the event. So, just a friendly reminder. Also, I wanted to give the court an update on our waste tire collection event that happened 2 weekends ago. We ended up, I just got some numbers from the state, that we had around 28,000 passenger tire equivalents come through the event. That's a lot of tires. It was a long 3 days. I also want to give a special thanks to the Bluegrass Career Development Center and the Madison County Detention Center, who supplied us labor help to help unload the tires. It was a major asset, and I appreciate that. And as well, a shout out to the city of Berea, and thanks for the secondary location that they brought in. They had set up to take in the tires.
Was it pretty successful?
That was a very successful. This is the third time that we've done the secondary site. And between leadership at Berea and myself, we really ironed it out this time. They loaded, when someone brought tires into the Berea facility, they live loaded them into the trucks and brought them straight up. So on Monday of the fall, after the event on Saturday was over, they had like 3 or 4 loads on Monday to bring in, and we were finished. So it worked out great. And I would say that they probably did, I estimate that they brought half of that 28,000 up here to the event. So.
Did most people use Silver Creek Drive?
The feedback was that about, I think, 75% of people brought stuff in on Silver Creek Drive, but there were still a few stragglers that came in off of Harrison. So,
Well, I just figured it might be a problem.
everything worked pretty smooth according to Dwayne Brumley down there. So we were in good shape.
Scott, did you have any products brought in that had to be rejected you couldn't accept? I just wondered,
There were no tires that we had to reject. I didn't see any solid foam filled tires or calcium tires agricultural that I know of, but we did not have to reject anything.
Good.
So it was a good event. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Dustin?
Morning again. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Last week we had our annual CSEP exercise Tuesday evening and Wednesday during the day. We had a little over 300 participants from Madison County agencies, Richmond and Berea. The exercise was a huge success, as always. One example, for instance, is Scott Tussey and the animal shelter crew. They've started to do pet decon with the CSEP program, and there was a whole lot of comments of how well they did in that operation. So I just wanted to thank everybody.
Did we get our trailer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We did.
Yep. We're working on getting that lettered. And
Is it up and ready yet? Is it 100% ready?
Not quite. We still have to get it. Go
Except for
ahead.
the aesthetics, except for the logoing.
Okay.
We'll have a grand unveiling.
Maybe if we could, maybe we could work towards maybe next court, bringing that
Yeah.
here.
It might not be polished and prettied up with photos. and
Well,
pictures or graphics.
let's wait till it is, and then maybe bring it so we can see.
You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to thank all the agencies that participated from all 3 governments, because without them the CSEP program isn't as successful as it is. On another note, with the current rain situation, I just wanted to let residents know, don't drive through flooded roadways. As the saying goes, please turn around, don't drown. If a citizen has any report of damage from any 3 of the government jurisdictions, please call our office at 624-4787 so that we can document that and report it as needed. So, thank you guys.
Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it.
I just wanted to say that I come in late on the training that they had, and I got some high remarks from a certain person about how well he done during the training.
Yep.
Just appreciate it.
Yep. Any more department heads? Everybody good? Comments from magistrate. Larry?
Well, I have several, but I'm gonna limit it to 2 maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Chief, let me ask you, on our new trucks, our new fire trucks, have we had them on a run yet?
Yeah, engine one's been in service since the week we fired. It's been up from operating out of station one in the front running truck.
How are they operating on these narrow roads?
So far, we've been pretty fortunate. Of course, the guys, I told them, when they drive them, they need to slow down and either stop and let passersby pass them or back into the driveway. They've got to change their driving habits with those trucks. But other than that, like I said, we've been running almost 2 months, going strong, and we've been going good with them so far, the one that we've got serviced.
The other one just like some more work on it, or?
Yeah, we like mounting just a few more brackets on that, Scott. We should have it up ready to go.
One of the things that too, Larry, is the floor out there at that station.
Oh, I know.
I'm still working with trying to get an engineer to see it my way. I'll just say it that way. You know, we gotten prices on, they're pretty expensive and so, I'm being a little bit stubborn, which is okay.
Well,
I have the right.
You know, and I'm not complaining about that. As far as I'm concerned, you keep them both out, number one. Might be better anyway. You know, when you get over here in southern Madison County, you got a little more narrow roads, so it might be better to keep them over there anyway.
Yeah.
As long as we've got trucks here, which we do, that's my only concern. I mean, I really don't care, Judge. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any difference to me. And that's gonna be a big cost, should we ever decide to undertake that.
If we do it the way the engineers want it, yes.
Yeah, well.
If we do it the way I want it, it won't be.
I guess that's the reason they call them engineers, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, other than that, the second thing is, I'm just glad to be here,
Yeah,
Judge.
glad to hear, buddy. Raj, do I go that way? Yeah, sorry. Tom?
All right. I was able to attend the start of the EOC exercise out at the EOC facility, and I'm always impressed, Judge, by the way that everybody works together and coordinates, and they're always, you know, to see law enforcement and the fire and the rescue, and, you know, they had a scenario that was rolling, and 15 or 20 minutes into the scenario, you had some wind shifts and other things like that, and it caused you to adjust people and move folks around, and you know, I say you should do that as often as you can. Of course, you know, I was asking Wendy at the 911 there, they were 30 minutes into it, and 911 hadn't blown up yet. And what I mean from that is, when real chaos hits, it's gonna be chaos. And so you train just as hard as you can with the best you can, and hopefully it should never happen, but if it happens, you know, you've got some basis and background on where to go from that, because it'll be a whole different world when things blow up, if they do. Hopefully they won't. But anyway, I was really impressed with the professionalism of everyone out there, and they've done a great job on that. I commend them all. I would also like to commend our road department. You know, I'm just telling you, you know, the rain that we've had right now is absolutely crazy, and it's not letting up. I mean, it's guys that are giving us 1 to 3 more inches today. I happened to call down to the road department yesterday for a constituent who was having an issue over in the 4th district, and Scott was able to send one of our foremen out there and take a look at it, and he was able to resolve their issue. And by the time I got there, it's shakes and howdies and smiles, and everybody's happy. Listen, Scott, thank your people. We appreciate that. I appreciate that, because the phone call that I got was not shakes and howdies, and they were upset. But I appreciate you all's response and getting out there and trying to resolve those issues with them. And, you know, we'll have more as we go along. We're gonna have more. This is just the tip of it. Along that line, if you've been trying to contact me in the last week or so, I asked for a little bit of patience. I have a new phone. Unfortunately, my contacts did not transfer, and I just don't answer. Leave me a message, because when I pick up the phone, if it's from California, I'm not answering it. If it's from an outside area code, I don't answer it. So just leave me a message. I'll call you back. Just be patient with that till I get my contacts reestablished, and I appreciate that. I was able to attend the Spoon Bread Parade this weekend and down at the Kirksville Days, and both of those went really, really well. The Spoon Bread Festival had a good attendance of not only folks running for public office, but also a really good crowd of folks that was down there spoon bread right in the middle of all the mud fields. I mean, I felt kind of sorry for them, but that was a good event. And let's see, Jez, I think I'm going to end with that.
Thanks, Tom. I want to add something there, just on the part of you talking about calling and disgruntled citizens about issues. I get those as well sometimes, and I want citizens to know that we as a county, and I put our county, our staff, the fiscal court up against any county in this state, and any fiscal court and staff that we've had in the past. Man, we are such big communicators with one another. We communicate well in fiscal court with our staff, and I want to encourage citizens to communicate with us. I get lots of phone calls, people mad, and they have no right to be mad because they've never told us. They've never called the road department and shared a concern. They've never called my office and shared a concern. They've been mad for 2 years, and every time a situation happens, it festers, it festers, it festers. And so I would just encourage citizens to reach out. Man, it's not party. Man, it has nothing to do with that. We're Madison Countyans. Communication is the key to success. And if you communicate with us, things like that happen, right? We get the job done. We take care of it. And so I would just encourage all the citizens watching, the ones that maybe will read this in the Richmond Register, to just call us and let us know what your concerns are. You don't have to wait until you get mad. Thanks. John?
Judge, I want to go back and touch a little bit on the housing of fire station 2 with the new engine out there. I think it was Chief Gray's recommendation, rather than reinforce the floor out there, maybe extend the building and park the truck out in front of the, and put a new building out there to house the truck. Was that your recommendation, Tim?
Depending on the cost, I said we could either extend one of the bays out or come to the side of the building next to the city side and put just a shed on the side to house the truck in if it's more feasible. It depends on what it comes back on the floor, what it's gonna be, and the cost and all that. It may be just as cheap, comparing apples to oranges to it, to go in and just either extend the bay on out or put a lean-to more or less shed on the side of the station and house the truck in. All we need is a spot for one truck anyway. Everything else is already housed in the bay.
Absolutely, and we could park a smaller truck in over the floor that we're concerned about. It sounded like a reasonable idea to me, and I think we need to pursue that further and get the cost back and move on from there. That's all I'll say about that, but that's a good recommendation, Tim, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We had a lot of flooding in not only the 3rd District, but all over the county yesterday. Some of the other counties north of here have had it for 2 or 3 days. We had our share yesterday, and looks like we're gonna get some more today. I had calls and concerns. Just be safe and use common sense when you're out there. If you run up on water across the road, don't drive through it unless you're absolutely sure how deep it is and the situation you're getting into. I'll be the first one to admit, we need to be a little bit more proactive in, I guess, barricading some of these water places that are over the road to let people know, especially going into nighttime where they can't see how deep the water is. We need to mark those runovers where it can be safe and people won't drive through creeks and get swept away. I also had some concern about maybe some ditching need to be done on some roads to alleviate some of this water off the roads, and that's just an ongoing situation. Willie knows that. You can ditch a road and then we have a big flood and it's filled back up. So that's something we're working with, and we'll continue to work with that. Any other concerns, feel free to call me at 661-0044 or call our road department or any of us here on fiscal court. We're all working together. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Roger?
The subdivision regulations that we just amended is a prime example of what I've been talking about to the taxpayers, that costs go up. We know that blacktop costs more every week. change these regulations, it helps us cover what should have been covered years ago. It's costing us more, and we're doing it for the same cheap price that we was. Taxpayers need to realize that just like their household, and I've told this before, you know, the cost of everything goes up, cable TV price goes up. We're the same way. Our county government's in the same boat. Things cost more every day. And that surprise is passed on to the taxpayer, or tried to, but we've held it down as good as we can, as long as we can. Another good example that the judge was talking about, if we don't get the call, we don't know what's going on as far as what needs repaired or fixed or taken care of. A good example, Kentucky River Road, just in the last week and a half, a gentleman called and said, we got a tree that's already leaning, getting ready to fall across the road. And he said, I'm not calling to complain, I'm just calling to let you know it's there so you can do something back. That's what needs to be done. And within a day and a half, they were down there and took care of the tree. And that's what we need, is for people to not call complaining about why we haven't been there, but call to let us know that we need to be there. You know, we don't care to go, we gotta know to go. That's all I got, Jim.
Thanks, appreciate it. Kenny? You good? Sheriff, you good? Good. Next, comments from audience. Anybody? I need a motion to pay the claims, approve the transfers, and as well as Glenna's addition, with that, Computer Information Systems, Inc., $191,686.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, next meeting will be October the 9th, 2018. That will be right here in Richmond. Again, next meeting will be October the 9th, 2018, right here in the fiscal courtroom in Richmond. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.